Have you ever heard of Nazi concentration camps, built completely underground? In 1943, deep inside the German mountains, the Nazis created hidden camps, where thousands of prisoners lived and died in total darkness. In April 1945, American troops entered a tunnel complex in central Germany. What they found was beyond belief: rocket parts, engineering blueprints, starving survivors, and a prison camp carved into the rock itself. This wasn't just a hidden factory. It was a weapons of mass destruction site powered by slave labor. This was Mittelbau-Dora. What if the darkest secrets of the Third Reich weren't found in the archives, but underground, carved into the mountains of Europe, hidden beneath forests? In the final years of World War II, Nazi Germany began moving its most secret weapons programs below the surface, underground, into the rock. Why? Because the Allied bombers were relentless. Peenemünde, destroyed. Hamburg, in flames. Berlin, no longer safe. So the Nazis dug in. They created entire factories beneath mountains, from Austria to Poland, from the Sudetenland to Thuringia. Codenames like Mittelwerk, B8 Bergkristall, Project Riese, and Richard. And the man behind this subterranean empire? SS General Hans Kammler. A trained engineer and brutal organizer, Kammler was Hitler's chief of secret weapons and master of the underground war. Kammler's rise through the SS wasn't just bureaucratic, it was ideological and strategic. He oversaw the design of gas chambers at Auschwitz, but his true legacy was deeper, quite literally. In 1944, Hitler gave Kammler full control of Germany's high-tech weaponry and underground construction. He became the architect of the Endsieg, the final victory that never came. He had a vision. If the Reich could no longer win from the skies, it would survive beneath the earth. In bunkers, in tunnels, in mountain fortresses. He personally toured construction sites. He signed off on budgets and blueprints. He ordered executions to keep projects on schedule. Some documents suggest Kammler planned to create self-sustaining underground cities with their own power stations, water supply, and communications. Places to continue the war, even if Berlin fell. He didn't just want to escape defeat. He wanted to build a new Reich below ground. These weren't just engineering feats. They were built with slave labor. Tens of thousands of prisoners were used like machines. They dug tunnels by hand, collapsed from exhaustion. In Lidomyzice, Gusen, Melk, Ebensee, the stories repeat themselves. Prisoners forced to build weapons they would never survive to see. Kammler personally oversaw many of these projects. He treated human beings like concrete, material to be poured into the earth and forgotten. One of the most infamous sites, Mittelbau-Dora, near Nordhausen. In 1943, after the bombing of Peenemünde, the SS moved the V2 rocket program to the Kohnstein Mountain. They created Mittelwerk, a subterranean factory complex, massive tunnels, thousands of workers, total secrecy. By early 1944, Mittelbau-Dora had become a hub of hidden Nazi industry. Entire trains could enter the mountain. Engines were tested beneath 30 meters of stone. At Mittelbau-Dora, the primary focus was the production of the V2 rocket, the world's first long-range guided ballistic missile. It was a weapon of terror, capable of striking London and Antwerp with deadly precision. The rockets were assembled inside the Mittelwerk tunnels, using parts shipped from across the collapsing Reich. But V2s weren't the only weapons built underground. Evidence shows that components for the V1 flying bomb, also known as the buzz bomb, were produced here as well. There are also records of early jet engine parts and guidance systems being tested in adjacent facilities. Among the engineers working under SS oversight was Wernher von Braun, the brilliant and controversial scientist who later became a key figure in the US space program. Von Braun and his team from Peenemünde were transferred to Mittelbau to continue rocket development in secret. Though they claimed to focus on technical matters, they worked within walking distance of mass death and did nothing to stop it. These men stood at the intersection of innovation and atrocity. Their rockets flew high, but their legacy remains buried in the tunnels of Mittelbau. The Mittelbau-Dora complex wasn't just a factory hidden in a mountain. It was an entire subterranean world. Over 20 kilometers of tunnels were carved into the Konstein Massif. Prisoners worked and lived underground for weeks at a time, without ever seeing daylight. The prisoners were crammed into 3-tiered wooden bunks inside damp rock caverns. No toilets, no running water, only buckets. Food was minimal. Disease was rampant. Faint electric lighting flickered constantly, casting long shadows on concrete walls. These were not shelters. They were graves carved in stone. Kammler gave the orders. He managed the logistics. He knew what was happening in every tunnel. The deaths, the sickness, the silence, all part of his plan. In April 1945, American troops entered the region. What they found stunned them. Corpses, starving survivors, complex tunnel systems, rocket parts, blueprints for jet fighters, and then something more disturbing, a hidden section of the tunnels, marked with block names, sleeping quarters, diagrams, an actual underground concentration camp. One of the most chilling discoveries was a large format construction map. It showed the internal layout of the underground camp, tunnel branches A and B, block sections labeled B1 through B4, sleeping areas noted as Schlafraum, technical annotations, Doppelstockbetten, Querschnitt, bunk beds, side view. The map was clinical, efficient, dehumanizing. It gave no indication that this was a place of suffering, only that it was precisely measured. Over 3,000 prisoners lived entirely underground. They ate, worked, and died in the dark. Only damp stone, exhaust fumes, rotting corpses. This wasn't a shelter. It was a system of annihilation through labor, sealed from the sky. Some of these tunnels remain unexplored. Others are collapsing, buried in silence. But the truth is still down there. Help us uncover what remains, piece by piece, map by map. This is Nazi leaks, and Mittelbau-Dora was only the tip of the iceberg. Newly declassified documents revealed there were at least 16 underground camps like it, hidden across Europe. Kammler's final movements remain a mystery. Some believe he died. Others claim he vanished, perhaps with American help. We will follow his trail and we will publish all his secret locations. Subscribe, stay tuned and watch closely. The hunt is on. Nazi leaks.